Right before kickoff in the World Cup final, Lionel Messi laced up custom boots, featuring the words "The Last Tango" written across the sole. 120 agonizing minutes later, he sat completely defeated on the grass at MetLife Stadium, his legs splayed out in front of him, staring helplessly across the pitch at the Spanish team celebrating their dramatic extra-time victory. And then, the greatest footballer who ever lived simply broke down and wept. They wanted to do absolutely anything else out there on the field besides just winning a regular soccer match. They would do it by fair means or foul. They would kick, they would punch, they would drag, they would dive, doing absolutely anything to survive. As players, they were in utter shambles out there. It was a disgusting, completely disgraceful, and deeply embarrassing performance from start to finish. Yet those bitter tears shed on the pitch were only the very beginning of the drama, because in the chaotic days that followed, a massive storm erupted unlike anything the soccer world has ever witnessed. We are talking a formal FIFA investigation and two separate disciplinary probes, a bizarre vanishing red card, a full-scale brawl, an assistant coach literally punching an opposing player, and wild, fast-spreading conspiracy theories that somehow managed to involve the FBI. The 2026 FIFA World Cup has officially come to a historic and chaotic close. Honestly, what is even the point of fighting your way into a World Cup final if you are not even going to attempt a single shot on goal? We have allegations of a corrupt Argentinian soccer president, dark threats made in the locker room, and a rumored secret deal to crown a European champion. This is the complete, unbelievable story of what went down after July 19, 2026. And the details are absolutely insane. Let us look at how it all fell apart. It starts with the final matchup itself, Spain versus Argentina. Spain's dramatic extra-time victory over Argentina in the 2026 FIFA World Cup final took a dark, chaotic turn before the championship confetti had even hit the grass. But to understand why everything exploded into pure madness afterward, you have to look at what actually went down on the pitch first. This was no longer a soccer match, it was a brutal siege. It took until the 106th minute, but Spain finally scored their winning goal off the clinical left foot of Ferran Torres. The decisive play began building just after the kickoff to start the second half of extra time, with a desperate Argentina squad already down to only 10 men. The crowd was absolutely roaring. The sensational young star Lamine Yamal gathered the ball out on the right wing and played a sharp pass over to Pedro Porro. Porro sent a looping right-footed cross into the box that almost sailed past the far post. But Nico Williams managed to head it back inside to Torres, who finished beautifully with his left foot. 1 goal. That single moment was all it took. Lionel Messi played the entire 120-plus minutes, but registered only one solitary shot. Argentina's goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, set a historic World Cup final record by making 11 incredible saves, yet his team still walked away empty-handed. That is not just a defeat. That is a defensive siege that completely fell apart the exact second Enzo Fernandez lost his cool and made a fatal mistake. Enzo was sent off with a red card in the 93rd minute, leaving his exhausted teammates down to 10 men for the grueling 30 minutes of extra time. It was brainless. Absolutely brainless. And that was only the opening act of Argentina's absolute night from hell. Next came the massive brawl involving Leandro Paredes, Nahuel Molina, and an ugly throat grab. This is the exact moment where the match stopped being a simple soccer story and transformed into a massive international incident. The final whistle echoed through the stadium. Spain's triumphant players immediately sprinted toward each other to celebrate their historic crown. The Spanish captain Rodri was apparently struck in the stomach by Argentina defender Nahuel Molina as he ran past to celebrate with his teammates. Molina quickly got back in Rodri's face, who then became the target of a vicious, screaming verbal attack from his former Manchester City teammate Nicolas Otamendi. That ugly exchange lit the fuse. And then Leandro Paredes charged in. Paredes grabbed Spain's Eric Garcia directly by the throat as a massive brawl erupted. While FIFA is now actively investigating the wild incident, the madness on the field did not stop there. Paredes and Thiago Almada then violently shoved Spanish midfielder Gavi down to the grass, prompting substitute players and coaching staff from both benches to pile into the melee. Give Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni some credit here, as he desperately rushed onto the field to try and calm everyone down, but honestly, even he could not prevent what happened next. Because here is the shocking detail that elevates this from a rough night into an absolute catastrophe. A red card for Paredes actually flashed up on FIFA's official live systems as punishment for the dangerous chokehold, and then, without warning, it was quietly deleted. In a brief statement released afterward, FIFA offered no clear timeline for their investigation, and completely avoided naming Paredes. While he was not handed a red card on the pitch, he could still face a lengthy retroactive suspension. The entire world watched a red card appear on their screens and then simply vanish in real time. That single, bizarre vanishing act is now sitting right at the dead center of a formal FIFA investigation. Talk about a bizarre paper trail. Enter Roberto Ayala and the shocking incident involving the coaching staff. If you honestly believe that players losing their tempers on the pitch was the worst of this story, just wait until you hear what a member of Argentina's coaching staff pulled off. This is the exact moment that turned a bad night into a full-scale, federation-level catastrophe. Argentina assistant coach Roberto Ayala was captured on camera approaching Spain's Dani Olmo and Eric Garcia during the height of the chaos, before apparently striking Olmo directly in the face. High-definition cameras caught every single painful second of the altercation. Ayala eventually broke his silence during a broadcast on Valencia Capital Radio, defending his actions by saying, "I saw a massive brawl breaking out right in the middle of the pitch, so we rushed over immediately to pull our players out of there. I fully take responsibility for my actions. My intention was only to step in and separate them, but sometimes things happen when your heart is racing, though that is no excuse. Given the position I hold, my behavior simply has to be different, regardless of what is thrown my way." He promised to apologize to Olmo in person. Now, compare that statement to how Olmo himself handled the situation. In his post-match interview, the 28-year-old said that in the end it really does not matter to us. I think it is also crucial to think about the values you want to project to the outside world. We are role models for so many generations and children. He was dignified, absolutely dignified. But an assistant coach punching an opposing player at a World Cup final is not just a heat-of-the-moment flashpoint. It is a serious federal-level disciplinary incident, and FIFA now has the entire thing on tape. During the trophy ceremony, Argentina turned their backs. And if you think the night actually ended with that brawl, then you were not watching closely enough, because what came right after those punches might actually have been even worse. After collecting their silver medals from FIFA President Gianni Infantino and United States President Donald Trump up on the stage, Argentina refused to return the favor. Instead, they completely turned their backs on the newly crowned champions as they were being handed gold medals and that famous winner's trophy. With bright gold confetti filling the air, 80,000 people watching live at MetLife Stadium, the entire world on television, and Argentina still had their backs turned. FIFA has officially confirmed they will launch disciplinary proceedings against the Argentine team. Scaloni, speaking through floods of tears at his post-match press conference, insisted that his players had shown they really do know how to lose. It was an incredibly strange thing to say about a night that featured a red card for reckless petulance and a coordinated post-match brawl, a coaching staff member punching an opposing player, every single player skipping their mandatory media duties, and a completely snubbed trophy ceremony. Alan Shearer put it very plainly, saying there is simply no place or space for that. Over on ITV, Gary Neville called the whole thing a complete disgrace, openly wondering why referees had kept letting Argentina cross the line throughout the entire tournament. One team made the final entirely about themselves, while the other made it about a proud nation. Football decided which approach wins. Now, enter the FBI theory, Claudio Tapia, and the locker room rumor. Now, this is the exact moment where the story departs from ugly and enters genuinely wild territory, because the conspiracy theories that exploded across Argentina after the defeat are absolutely extraordinary, and some of them are not entirely without a solid foundation. Just before that historic World Cup final kicked off at MetLife Stadium, a rumor began to spread that FBI agents were at the stadium, intending to arrest AFA President Claudio Tapia. According to journalist Eduardo Feynman, the rumor caused deep unease within the Argentine delegation and also reached the players. Reports from La Nación and Marca stated that federal prosecutors and FBI agents were in the middle of an inquiry into hundreds of millions of dollars shifted through banking systems involving the AFA. Some reports even claimed that the FBI planned to enter the actual locker room. Now, here is exactly where Messi fits into this situation. In the aftermath of their defeat, social media was completely flooded with footage of Messi addressing his team before the match. The captain was captured in a moment of intense, raw focus, heard repeatedly telling his squad to come on guys, calm down, saying staying calm is the most important thing. He urged them to stay calm, to just think about playing and nothing else, to calm down and forget about everything. That frantic plea to forget about everything quickly sparked conspiracy theories online, with some fans suggesting that external factors or off-field drama were weighing heavily on the squad. One fan posted online, I need to understand why Messi told them to forget everything that happened before heading out to the final. What the hell are we missing here? What did they do to them? Another posted that honestly, after how weird the whole match was, seeing this video pop up raises massive doubts. I now have 1,000 different doubts. Rumors circulated that Messi's speech was his desperate attempt to stop his teammates from focusing on the FBI probe and to put their minds solely on the game. The legal pressure on Tapia had already reached a massive boiling point well before the tournament when a judge issued a strict travel ban against the federation chief as part of an active investigation centered on the alleged non-payment of Social Security contributions totaling a staggering 19 billion pesos, which is approximately $13 million, unpaid across 2024 and 2025. So, the legal heat on Tapia was incredibly real, but whether it entered that locker room remains unconfirmed. His case sits amid a rising wave of conspiracy theories promoted by several streamers and public figures, following Argentina's devastating defeat, with claims ranging from allegations that the World Cup final was fixed in. People claim Spain got a massive favor, pointing to assertions that Argentina players were pressured to lose just to keep Tapia out of handcuffs. Under that crazy theory, Lionel Messi telling his teammates to forget about everything was directly tied to the dark rumors spreading in the hours right before kickoff. But to be clear, this explanation has never been confirmed by the AFA or any player on that squad. Pretty convenient, right? The Infantino UEFA conspiracy, a totally rigged tournament from start to finish. But that FBI theory is really just one single thread in a massive, complicated web that angry Argentine fans have been spinning ever since the final whistle blew. Actually, there is a second conspiracy theory making the rounds that is even bigger, and this one directly targets the FIFA president Gianni Infantino himself. Throughout the entire tournament, FIFA has faced heavy accusations of deliberately fixing the 2026 World Cup on several different occasions. Right before the 2026 tournament, FIFA slightly tweaked the process for determining the exact path to the final. And the result was a blockbuster semi-final lineup that critics claim the organization wanted all along. We are talking about the top 4 nations in the world rankings. Spain, Argentina, France, and England were conveniently separated in the draw, making sure they could not play each other until the semifinals. But some folks in Argentina went even further. The main theory exploding across Argentine media right now is this: Gianni Infantino allegedly cut a secret deal with UEFA to guarantee a European champion, all in exchange for their backing in his next presidential re-election campaign. Spain gets the trophy, Infantino secures his vital votes. Pretty much everybody wins, except for Argentina. A massive online petition quickly popped up demanding that FIFA exclude Argentina entirely, with the organizers asking one big question: why should the rest of the world even bother competing when the ultimate winner is already decided? They demanded FIFA kick Argentina out to give everyone else a fair shot. Amazingly, more than 23 million people signed the petition, which they called Leave Argentina. They were demanding a lifetime ban to keep the national team from ever playing in the World Cup again, with the total reaching 23,316,108 signatures. That is no tiny rumor, it is a global explosion. And here is the craziest part. Even the AFA president Claudio Tapia was finally forced to break his long, quiet silence on this massive controversy. He urged the passionate fans to pause for a second and think. He ended his statement with a very sharp warning, aimed right at anyone listening to the whispers. He warned them not to be fooled by the lies and the deliberate campaigns designed to tear the team apart. Now, when the president of your own soccer federation has to go public and tell citizens to stop believing conspiracy theories, you know things have gone totally sideways. Then came the Falklands banner, a massive political bomb dropped right before the final. But wait, the drama gets even deeper because FIFA was already actively investigating Argentina for a completely different issue before the big final even started. FIFA launched an official inquiry into why the Argentine players chose to display a controversial political banner after beating England in their semi-final match down in Atlanta. Center back Lisandro Martinez and bench player Giovanni Lo Celso had proudly held up a sign reading Las Malvinas son Argentinas, which translates directly to the Falklands, are Argentinian. They paraded it on the pitch during the celebration, smiling and waving directly to the fans in the stands. Right after the whistle blew on Argentina's tense 2-1 victory in Atlanta, Lo Celso grabbed the banner from a group of fans. He quickly hoisted it high, alongside teammates Lisandro Martinez, Christian Romero, and Nicolas Otamendi. It turns out the banner had actually been smuggled past stadium security inside a fan's pants. They had thrown it together using a stolen hotel bedsheet and some cheap paint bought at a nearby store. Incredible. Here was Argentina, willingly risking major FIFA sanctions just because a few players wanted to celebrate beating England with a highly provocative message about their territory claims. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer quickly backed the growing calls for a formal FIFA investigation. Over in the UK, politician Ed Davey went even further, insisting that every single Argentine player involved in the banner incident should be banned from playing in the final against Spain. Ultimately, FIFA declined to suspend the players for the big match, but they made sure to keep the active investigation wide open. And that brings us to the conspiracy theory currently tearing through Argentina. They believe FIFA deliberately chose not to ban those players before the kickoff. Instead, the most cynical rumors claim FIFA allowed them to play only to guarantee they would lose on the field. In this view, the Falklands banner was the crime, and losing the cup to Spain was the ultimate punishment. Argentina had actually been fined by FIFA for showing a banner with that exact same political slogan back in 2014, following a friendly match against Slovenia. Back then, FIFA's disciplinary committee handed down a fine of 30,000 Swiss francs for that specific gesture. They paid up, and then 12 years later, on the grandest stage in the world, they went out and did the exact same thing. Now, Argentina is facing potential punishments on 3 separate charges from just one tournament. That is not an isolated mistake anymore, that is a full-blown criminal file. It points to a deep, troubled history between Argentina and FIFA, and that is exactly why the prosecutor's job is going to be so much easier this time around. This is not a first-time mistake, not even close. This is a repeated pattern of behavior with hard evidence going back years. It all started right after the historic 2022 World Cup final over in Qatar. Emiliano Martinez gestured lewdly with his Golden Glove trophy before cameras caught him mockingly chanting about Kylian Mbappe right inside the locker room. The final punishment was just a fine of £18,000 with 0 individual player sanctions, literal pocket change. Then Enzo Fernandez, the very same player sent off in that 2026 final, had to issue a public apology after posting a video of a team chant that French football officials condemned as racist, discriminatory. That same year, Martinez was hit with a 2-game suspension for repeating his infamous trophy gesture. The 2014 Falklands banner, the 2026 banner, that crude trophy gesture, racist chants, the qualifier suspension, and now this massive World Cup final, brawl alongside an assault on the coaching staff. Stack them all together, and it looks like a habit. Bringing the game into disrepute is a serious charge that gets much heavier when a prosecutor points to a rap sheet this thick. And Article 13 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code is literally written for exactly this. Real precedents exist. Remember when FIFA banned Spanish Federation President Luis Rubiales for 3 years over that forced kiss at the Women's World Cup final? They suspended Luis Suarez 4 months for biting an opponent during the 2014 World Cup. That meant Suarez was suspended for 9 international matches and banned for 4 long months from any football-related activity. The rules have teeth. The real question, as always, is whether FIFA will actually use them. Instead, we get silence. Nobody apologized. This single moment tells you everything about where Argentina's heads are right now. Not a single key figure involved in that ugly brawl has apologized. Not one. Instead, Leandro Paredes took to Instagram to share his thoughts. He wrote, "Thank you, Argentina. I love you today and always." In his message, he explained that he wrote with a heavy heart, having failed to bring their country the joy it deserved, but was still incredibly proud of giving absolutely everything they had. Paredes called it an honor to be part of what he labeled the best Argentine national team in history. Defiant, patriotic, and beautiful, yet there was a deafening silence regarding the throat grab, the flying punches, or the massive brawl that now has FIFA prosecutors working overtime. Enzo Fernandez posted his own statement about heartbreak and pride, saying that wearing the jersey remains the single greatest honor of his career. Yet there was 0 mention of the red card that left his teammates a man down for 30 minutes of grueling extra time. Absolutely 0. Pretty convenient, right? Even before the final kicked off, Messi had sparked massive retirement rumors by wearing custom Adidas boots named The Last Tango and writing an emotional farewell letter to his squad. After the match, he said absolutely nothing publicly about the ugly brawl, not a single word. He grieved all by himself on the grass, deserving far better than the chaotic night his teammates created. Messi's future, the last tango. Now we face the one major question the entire football world is asking 6 days later. Is this truly the end for Lionel Messi and Argentina? Remember, it was right here at MetLife Stadium, after a devastating Copa America final loss to Chile, that Messi first shocked everyone by announcing his international retirement back in 2016. And now, This very same stadium might have served as the stage for his final exit. While Messi has not made any official retirement announcement following Argentina's heartbreaking defeat to Spain, the heavy tears he cried while receiving his silver medal spoke volumes. Yet, according to respected Argentine national team insider Gaston Edul of TIC Sports, Messi is apparently not expected to announce his international retirement right away. As rumors suggest, Argentina's football federation is already planning a massive home field tribute match during the next international break to give their beloved captain a true hero's send-off. Even at 39, the Argentine icon has not dropped any real hints that he is ready to hang up his boots, even though this was almost certainly his final World Cup match. Plus, his contract with Major League Soccer side Inter Miami runs all the way through the 2028 season, meaning his club career still has plenty of mileage left. Before the tournament, when asked about the 2030 World Cup, Messi explained he will play as long as he feels physically fit and can help his teammates. He never closes a door, he just lets time decide. Even though they lost the final, Messi still made FIFA's shortlist for the 2026 World Cup goal of the tournament, thanks to his spectacular long-range blast against Algeria, offering a slight silver lining of individual praise after Rodri claimed the Golden Ball as the tournament's overall MVP. Across 6 different World Cups with Argentina, Messi scored a massive 21 goals and provided 8 assists. Now, he and Cristiano Ronaldo remain the only 2 players in soccer history to feature in 6 World Cups. But the real tragedy of this final is not merely that Argentina lost the match, it is that the greatest player of all time spent what was likely his final World Cup farewell, surrounded by teammates who quickly turned a night of sadness into a night of absolute shame. Joe Hart of the BBC summed it up best: there was only one man on that pitch who showed true class, and that was Lionel Messi, shaking hands with every single Spanish player. And young Lamine Yamal, Spain's 19-year-old superstar, a kid born in a year when Messi was already playing as a professional, walked straight over to console him the second the final whistle blew. That single image says it all. Now, FIFA faces a total nightmare. What comes next? So, where does this all land? Exactly. Right now, nobody knows when this official FIFA investigation will wrap up, or if these players will actually face any real suspensions. FIFA launched a formal inquiry into the chaotic post-match brawl following Argentina's painful loss to Spain, bringing in a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor to dissect the entire ugly incident. Nahuel Molina and Leandro Paredes were right in the middle of the post-match brawl, with Paredes actually getting shown a red card that somehow got rescinded moments later. We also have reports suggesting that Thiago Almada and assistant coach Roberto Ayala are heavily involved in the probe. We are talking about players, the bench, and the staff. Plus, FIFA was already looking into that controversial Falklands political banner they displayed after beating England. Now, Argentina faces 2 separate FIFA investigations running at the exact same time. The official case file keeps growing, fast. But history shows that what FIFA actually does is very different from what is written in their official rulebook. Back in 2022, the penalty for crude gestures, locker room taunts, and trashed press areas was a fine under $25,000. No players were suspended, just pocket change. Now, the soccer world waits. The strict governing body that banned Rubiales for 3 whole years, or will they just hand Argentina another tiny fine they can pay out of pocket and move on? Meanwhile, an online petition demanding a replay of that final has already passed 61,000 signatures. Conspiracy theories are spreading like wildfire. While the prosecutor quietly keeps on working, Argentina came to defend their crown. Instead, they are leaving to defend themselves from a prosecutor. Spain got the trophy, Argentina got the legal paperwork, and that disappearing red card sits in a file of questions FIFA refuses to answer. So, here is the real question. Was this truly the last time we will ever see Lionel Messi wear the albiceleste shirt at a World Cup? Should FIFA finally come down hard on them with real bans and massive fines? Or is simply losing a World Cup final already more than enough punishment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And before you head out, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss our next soccer breakdown.